Dark clouds overhead, a little afternoon rain. Hopefully it'll clear out and we'll have baseball as the Rockies open up a week at home with the Pittsburgh Pirates of Clint Hurdle enjoying a terrific year. Their best in more than 20, in fact. Rockies and Pirates met last weekend in Pittsburgh with the Pirates taking 2 of 3. And we welcome you upstairs along with my partner George Frazier. I'm Drew Goodman. Obviously the Rockies have not played well since the All-Star break. They had a very dismal 1-9 road trip, and today the Rockies held a team meeting in which one man spoke, and that was the manager.
And it's a tough time when you're not playing good baseball and you play for a manager that you've respected. You've watched him play the game. For a lot of these guys that are around him have been around Walt Weiss, and when he speaks you're going to listen. And I think today Walt's frustrated with the fact that this ball club is not making adjustments. They're not scoring runs. They're not pitching at times, coming off one of their worst deals. And whenever you have that in a locker room, sure, you would like your veteran players to make a point to some of the younger guys, but when the manager says that ain't happening, I'm making the point, and this is what I think needs to be done, and I think that's a smart point.
Well, specifically when it comes to offense, the Rockies since July 1st have hit just .233, and they felt like on paper they had what should have been one of the better offenses in the National League. Here's some more of what Walt said addressing the offense.
It's tough to say. I mean, I think we've struggled making some adjustments. Is maybe what it comes down to. You know, if teams are getting you out one way consistently, you got to make that adjustment. I think we've been slow to make that adjustment in some ways. I think that's what's added to some of our offensive problems. I think every team goes through some offensive struggles, regardless of who you are in this league. But yeah, I'm a little surprised that it's gone this long.
Well, Walt this afternoon was very concise in his comments, and he is a wonderful guy. You and I both know that, and he's a very even-keel personality. You heard an edge and an underlying anger with Walt that we haven't seen yet this season.
You're right, and I think it's because this ball club is so much better offensively than what they're seeing, and he doesn't like it. He doesn't like what's going on the field. He wants to see this team play better, and I think his point, and you mentioned with the media, very short, concise. He looked you in the eye when he talked. It wasn't long sentences, much like I'm sure the meeting went in the locker room.
All right. When we come back, we'll talk about the pitching matchup tonight. It is a very good one. Two of the top left-handers in the National League, Francisco Liriano against Jorge De La Rosa. club is 14-9 when he starts. The Rockies and Pirates a few moments away. Francisco Liriano, who's had a bounce-back season for Pittsburgh, he's 12-4, will be the matchup tonight.
Good matchup, too, with De La Rosa's on the mound. This ball club 14-9. When you're in a skid like this, you need a closer to go out, a stopper to shut things down on the opposition. Even though De La Rosa did not do that in Pittsburgh, you hope that he continues that here at home because he has been very, very good at home. Look at this, folks. In his career, 31-12 at Coors Field. Hard to find a pitcher to match up with that. The 2.65 ERA, minimum of 10 starts, best ever in Coors Field. So you start to watch this man go to work. I think it's been the split finger as much as it has been the fastball. The split has been hard on right-handers.
And his split is such that it's very difficult to decipher the split from the slider. But suffice it to say, it doesn't matter because they haven't done a lot of hitting against him, particularly when it's been at home. Francisco Liriano, speaking of a slider and changeup combination, he's been devastating.
He's back to where he was in Minnesota, healthy again, confident in both pitches, throwing him in any account and taking it off the plate. That's where he takes it. He can take that slider and put it a couple of inches off the plate. He can bring it back in for the strike call. He can go back to his changeup. It's just a complete pitcher again, a very, very good pitcher.
Frage, if you look at his numbers, he's in the Cy Young conversation
well, he has
right
to
now.
Be. He has to be with 106 strikeouts, 102 innings, I think 76 hits out there, a 208 earned run average. You kidding me? He has to be in it.
Yeah, no question about it. So it's De La Rosa and it's Liriano. It's the Rockies trying to slow down the surging Pirates. Come on back to Coors Field with us. Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by your 7 neighborhood Toyota stores. Toyota, let's go places. By King Soopers, more value for the way you live. And by Southwest Airlines, find our fares online only at southwest.com. Pretty night in the Mile High City as long as the rain holds off. Man, it poured last night, George. I don't know if you've gotten in yet from Tulsa. About 2.5 inches of rain in some parts of the metro area. De La Rosa making that walk to the mound. And the Pittsburgh Pirates will begin tonight with Starling Marte at the top of their lineup. That's pretty typical. He can really run. He's done a good job up top for Clint Hurdle. And here's the rest of Clint's lineup presented by Southwest Airlines. Jordy Mercer, the Oklahoma State product. He'll be a shortstop batting second. Andrew McCutchen, their all-star, will bat third. Russell Martin, the hero from yesterday, a walk-off single in the 10th inning to beat the Marlins. Pedro Alvarez leading the league in home runs. Gabby Sanchez, Neil Walker, Jose Tabata, and Francisco Liriano. Here's today's Farmers Insurance game plan. George, what do you have?
Well, the last couple of starts, 9 innings, 16 hits, 8 runs. You've got to change that and work into the deeper part of the ball game in that 6th, 7th, where it allows you to manage the ball game. Because from your bullpen perspective, you're not trying to piece it together from the 4th to the 8th and hope you have a lead to where you can get the Belial brothers.
The Pirates out on the road for 13 of their next 16. But they're coming off a terrific homestand. They played 11 at home. They had a makeup game from a lost game earlier. Remember, that was part of that 5-game series with the Cardinals, in which they won 4 of 5 to really put their foot down in that National League Central. They went 9-2.
They have done that. I mean, you're looking at a ball club right now with the Pittsburgh Pirates that when they do go out and play, the only division that has been close, here's a base hit, a leadoff single to left off De La Rosa, has been the National League West. They're 8-7. But in the National League Central, 30-18. They've really dominated their division.
And there's a good look at Clint Hurdle. Always special for Clint to come back to Colorado. He has a ton of ties here naturally. And though he's now in Pittsburgh and steering the ship of the Pirates, he remains, part of him at least, a Coloradan at heart. Here's Jordy Mercer, and Mercer takes ball 1. Home plate umpires Brian Onora. Fielding Cobras at first, Bill Welke at second, and Adrian Johnson is at third. Marte has 33 stolen bases, and De La Rosa, for a lefty, does not hold runners well.
And for Rosario behind the plate, I know a lot of people like to look at catcher's percentages. Almost 23% thrown out by Rosario, who has one of the better arms in baseball. But as a pitcher, you've got to give him a chance to throw someone out.
Everett Cabrera, who's sitting out the rest of the year. Then Starling Marte, Gene Segura, the only guys with 30-plus bags in the National League. Good changeup a moment ago by De La Rosa. He's been utilizing from the left side a slide step.
And he can't get away from his command, though, by doing that. Sometimes you rush the body. Fastball, 91 miles an hour, about 52-53% of the time. The changeup has become a #1 secondary pitch behind the slider and curveball.
Mercer 2 for 3 last weekend against De La Rosa. There he goes, and they got it picked off. Out at second base. Good throw from Helton. But De La Rosa picks off Mercer. That goes, excuse me, Marte. That goes as a caught stealing.
And a good move by De La Rosa. As soon as he saw his movement, he took off on first movement. Then it was up to Helton. Helton got the ball a little bit low on the ground, and that allowed Tulowitzki to pick the baseball and apply the tag.
That was a good pickup by Troy.
He is now
another good changeup.
Marte second in the National League in being caught trying to steal a base with 11. Cabrera, as you said, setting it out, leads it in both categories.
Three and 2 on Mercer. Did you see him play in college at all, George?
Yes, I did. Oklahoma State University, a very good player in college.
Pulled foul. And a bigger middle infielder. He's 6'3", about 215 pounds.
He's out of the Jeff Kent mold. To go back a few years, about big guys that can move a little bit. Troy Tulowitzki, 6'3", 220.
And DJ LeMahieu, 6'4", and about 210. You never see guys that size playing in the middle of the infield in your era, certainly. Here's a 3-2 and another base hit, almost identical to Marte. That caught stealing looms large now. One out, one on. Andrew McCutcheon coming up. The Rockies defense is brought to you by Excel Energy. We bring you the energy you need so you can live the life you want. Visit responsiblebynature.com to learn more. Charlie Culberson playing left field. Kadire and Fowler join him in the outfield. Arenado, Tulowitzki, LeMahieu, Helton, Rosario in the infield. Andrew McCutchen tears up left-handed pitching typically.
Very quick hands to the baseball. You see where he sets up, puts the bat basically on his shoulder, elevates it to more of a perpendicular, and then all of a sudden, wham, here it comes. Very, very quick to the baseball. Drew's mentioning that 375 average versus the left-handers.
You go back to last year, George, 386 against lefties. It's actually, if you were to extend it out one more decimal point, it would be 3.861. The only guy in baseball who's hitting higher against lefties is Buster Posey at 3.863. That's how close it is. I think you get the point. He crushes lefties. Here's the 1-1. And a ground ball through the left side. Another base hit. That's 3 singles in a row against De La Rosa, who in his last 2 starts, George, has not been real sharp.
No, he has not been. The last couple of starts, 5 innings, 8 runs, 5 earned. And in 4 innings, excuse me, in 4 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs. That was against Pittsburgh in that last start.
Well, last night, or yesterday, more specifically for the Pirates, 10th inning, Russell Martin at the plate, and he got it down the third base line, and the Pirates walked off on the Marlins. They've now won 5 straight. And, you know, is it worth it anymore, getting a walk-off hit,
I don't
George?
know. It's then you got to go in and sit in the ice bath.
Yeah, I mean, they beat the heck out of you. Here's Russell Martin, 2 on and 1 out. Martin has done not only a real good job offensively, but as importantly, or perhaps more so, he has handled this pitching staff so well, and it's a mix of the young and old. You know, Jeff Locke, the young, excuse me. Tomorrow you'll see A.J. Burnett, a guy in between, and Francisco Liriano, who's 29. They have the lowest staff ERA in the National League for Clint at 3.07.
They come at you pretty good. The bullpen obviously is great, but then you've got this starting, and I think that with Martin behind the plate, the years of training he had catching veteran pitchers in New York, and then came here and applied that same philosophy, and it's worked. I am really baffled by this number handled to me by Doug. How can this ball club, the Pirates with 70 wins, be hitting 228 with runners in scoring position, 29th in all of baseball? The only one worse is the Cubs.
Yeah, we talked about it last weekend, Jeff and I. It baffles the mind, but here's the thing. They have baseball symmetry this year. They score when necessary. And it's not always pretty, George. You know, it's a hit, and they move the runner and a bloop, and next thing you know, they get a run. They win a lot of close games.
Play baseball.
Yeah.
They play time. One of the comments made that Lou made about his Giant teams was we play 27 outs. They play 27 outs.
Well, case in point, they're 42 and 27, 15 games above 500 in games decided by 2 runs or less. Martin takes a strike. It's 2-2. De La Rosa trying to get a ground ball here. And they're good front runners, George.
Big time front runners. 46 and 17 when they score first. Wow.
And that speaks to their bullpen. Their bullpen ERA is 2.81. Starter ERA 3.22. That's how you arrive at that 3.07 figure. It's outstanding. And another base hit. Almost all are identical. And Culberson's throw is cut off, and they stopped Jordy Mercer. Nick Leyva, the third base coach, former manager in the big leagues. That's 4 straight singles for the Pirates. Bases loaded, one man out, with Pedro Alvarez coming up, and here goes Jim Wright to the hill.
Every base hit that they've had early in this ball game has been on balls up in the strike zone. That's a spinning slider, belt high to Martin, and he just shot it to left field. Culberson came in, got a hold of this baseball in a hurry. Mercer runs fairly well, and he put it right on the money to Arenado. They almost had a back pick with Tulowitzki covering third.
When De La Rosa faced the Pirates last weekend, Alvarez did not start left on left. He's in there tonight. Amazing thing is, with all the base hits, De La Rosa again has an opportunity with a ground ball, a guy who doesn't run well, to get out of the inning unscathed.
Yeah, not a lot of pitches thrown either, just 17. They've been swinging fairly early in counts here. That pitch caught the strike zone but didn't get called by Brian Honora, the home plate umpire.
1-0. He didn't offer at it. It's 2-0. Pedro Alvarez leading the National League in home runs. Carlos Gonzalez did going into the break, but he's been largely idle in the second half. Paul Goldschmidt as well with 26. Cargo remains on the disabled list with that finger injury. 2-0, bases loaded, 1 out. Three balls, no strikes. And now De La Rosa is in a significant jam.
Yeah, it gets really trying to stay away from the power. A lot of left-handers that don't hit well against left-handers, they have a tendency to fade off of the baseball with their front side. So as a pitcher, you don't want to leave the ball on the inner half of the plate where they can bail away and utilize their power.
He was hacking 3-0. Not a surprise. 3-1. Alvarez, a product of Vanderbilt University. Been cranking out talent of late. Good baseball program, outstanding academic institution. Here's the 3-1. And now it's 3-2. At third base is Jordy Mercer, Andrew McCutchen at second, Russell Martin at first. There's good speed on base. Martin, who catches, runs pretty well. And of course, McCutchen at second can fly. 3-2 with 1 out. In the air down the right field line and drifting out of play.
Glad that he offered it the pitch. It was an 85-mile-an-hour slider that was ball 4. But as an RBI man with 74 RBIs, if it's close, they're going to hack to try to drive in the run. The Pirates have hit 225 as a team with the bases loaded this year. 3 for 18. Alvarez 2 for 8. He has 2 of those 3 hits.
Here's another 3-2. He got him. Struck him out on a slider for out number 2.
Felt like you could, if you put it in the right spot, that he would offer. It was a split finger out of the hands of De La Rosa that he threw for strike 3. The pitch that he has a lot of confidence in. When you pull with that middle finger, it'll create a slider action on the baseball.
Dirty pitch.
Nasty. Perfect pitch at a perfect time.
Not out of the woods yet. Gabby Sanchez is at the plate, the former Marlin. Hardest pitch from De La Rosa in the inning, that at 93 miles an hour. 24 pitches in for De La Rosa. Outfield straight up, and that's in the zone. Now you have a 2-strike count on Gabby Sanchez trying to finish it off.
83-mile-an-hour changeup. The bottom fell out of.
Here's the 0-2. Hard shot, but right at LeMahieu. How do you like that? When was the last time you saw 4 singles in an inning, yet a run did not score? For the Pirates as they leave him loaded. De La Rosa made like Houdini in that first inning. So the Rockies will begin with Dexter Fowler against Francisco Liriano. Dexter's average at 260. Here's the rest of Walt Weiss's lineup, presented by Southwest Airlines. DJ LeMahieu had 3 hits in a 2-1 loss yesterday in New York against the Mets. Will bat second. Then Tulowitzki, coming off a rough road trip, his average down to 312, though he's hit the Pirates well in his career. Then Michael Kadire, Mr. Steady, Willeen Rosario, Todd Helton, who swung the bat well against lefties this year, Nolan Arenado, Charlie Culberson, and Jorge De La Rosa against the big left-hander Francisco Liriano.
Well, he's second in wins in the National League with 12 right now. Left-handers have hit 117 against him. Now, this guy has had total dominance in the National League so far. 16 starts, and he has a decision in every start. That tells you an awful lot there. The fastball, 92.8, doesn't utilize it as much as you think you would with that velocity near 93, but the slider and changeup are so good that he'll go to those when he's either ahead or behind in the count. It really doesn't matter. He's going to go right at you. In 102 innings, he's only walked 42. He struck out 106.
His changeup's been terrific, complementing that slider. You know, a year ago he was 6-12, looking for a job.
I think he'll have one next year. What do you think?
Well, he signed a 2-year deal. Yeah, he's in good shape going forward. That's a soft line drive at the shortstop. Jordy Mercer makes the catch. Here's Liriano and what he did last week. 2-hit shutout baseball for 7 innings. He walked 5, George, and he struck out 6. And you see 5 walks and say, ooh, man, must have been sloppy. It was strange because it didn't feel like he walked 5.
Well, just 2 hits. So basically look at 7 base runners in a ball game in 7 innings.
LeMahieu takes a healthy cut, fouls it off. That's the pitch, George, that has made him so effective this year. That changeup, and he'll take it off the plate also and turn his hand over.
Well, he does it 2 different moves on it. He can move it in, move it away. He can take it straight down. He's got a great feel and release for that pitch.
This ball's golfed down the left field line. Foul. Now we got
no arguments. You'll get another one in a minute. Just hold on. You may have to go a little harder, a little bit harder to get the next one, but you'll get another one here in a minute.
It's already out on Instagram.
Yep, gone.
And DJ punches one to right field for a base hit.
Late reaction by Sanchez, and fortunately DJ got it dumped into the outfield for a base hit.
One out and a man at first. Tulowitzki coming up. The Pirates defense is brought to you by Excel Energy. Make the choices that fit your life, and Excel will provide you the energy to power it. Visit responsiblebynature.com to learn more. Marte, McCutchen, and Tabata in the outfield. Pedro Alvarez plays a lot of first base, but he's originally a third baseman. That's where, excuse me, he plays a lot of third base. You can move him over to first on occasion. Mercer, Walker, Sanchez in the infield with Russell Martin. Pedro also has 20+ errors.
21 errors, first in the National League.
Mayu takes off, straight steal, and Martin, who has thrown out half of the would-be base stealers, may have been caught by surprise.
I think so as his pitcher. I like the aggressiveness. Martin, you mentioned Martin, 22 of 42, 52.3% of would-be base stealers, and a very good jump by LeMahieu. Really had no chance. That was all on Liriano, not on Martin.
So a runner out there in scoring position for Troy. Tulowitzki just 3 for 28 on that road trip. Two and 0. Tulo hitting .298 against lefties, .318 against righties. When hitless in that Mets series, he didn't start yesterday. Rizzo actually drew a walk when he came into the ball game late. 2-1. Time for the big hit presented by Mako, the company that repairs all kinds of hits. Tulowitzki against Pittsburgh got a slider, and he hit it out. That was in game 1. Rockies had an early lead. Unfortunately, they could not hold it. The Rockies won the middle game of that 3-game set. Check out your local Mako for collision repairs and auto painting for as low as $3.99. Visit Mako.com today. And a walk to Tulowitzki.
More pitched around, I think. I just don't think you want to throw to him. Change up on 3-1, change up, or 2-1, change up 3-1. Even though that's your out pitch, you never offered a fastball and challenge that situation. Now Kadire will get a shot at knocking in a run here. Kadire 0 for 3 career-wise against Liriano. You see the numbers for the year, though, very good.
Michael had another base hit yesterday. He almost never comes out of the lineup. Michael had a solid road trip, 8 for 28. Obviously nobody lit it up really since the All-Star break. Nobody has lit it up offensively. The Rockies, last time they were at home, finished just 5-5 in that 10-game homestand that featured Chicago, Miami, and Milwaukee. They had a chance to have a good homestand. It was the Marlins that gave them problems. They won 3 of 4 against the Rockies because Colorado took 2 of 3 against the Cubs and 2 of 3 against the Brewers. But the ongoing theme, really even before the All-Star break, is what has happened to the offense. Mentioned it off the top of the broadcast. The Rockies hitting just .233 since July 1st. You're going to have periods, Walt's pointed this out, where you don't hit for a week or two. Even the most talented lineup. This is bounced up the middle with eyes. It'll get out through. LeMahieu will make the turn. He'll score, and the Rockies take a 1-0 lead. Michael Kadire.
A professional and at bat by Kadire. A lot of guys, how they get in trouble against Laureano is try to do too much with the baseball. Try to hit it out of the baseball park instead of just making solid contact. Think back up the middle. Kadire on a changeup right back up the middle. Out of the reach of the middle infield, and then that allowed DJ LeMahieu to come around and score. The Rockies this year 23-9 when scoring first at home at Coors Field. They're up 1-0.
Tulowitzki, as you saw, went first to third. So with 1 out, runners on the corners, and Rosario at the plate. Kadire draws a throw. He was cut down trying to steal yesterday for just the 2nd time this year.
We talked about the offense struggling on the road. They hit 197 with runners in scoring position. They were 0 for 10 versus the Mets and already 1 for 1 tonight, as Dougie has pointed out.
Rockies 31-26 at home. And though it is above 500, you would hope that this juncture of the season there'd be a more significant disparity in the one-loss column here at Coors Field. The homestand preceding the All-Star break for the Rockies, they were actually on the road right before the All-Star break, but the final homestand prior to the All-Star break. Line drive, right field, fair ball. Tulowitzki will score easily. Kadire around third, gets a green light from Stu Cole. He'll score easily. And the Rockies have a 3-0 lead on the double by Willeen Rosario. Rockies fans wondering, where has this been?
Yeah, absolutely. They're wondering where it's been. But I think a pep talk from the manager, making adjustments, going right at people instead of not making adjustments. That's a great job by Rosario to take that ball down and away from him, not try to pull the ball, but to go to right field with authority. And that's what he did. He one-hopped this ball deep off of that fence in right field, allowed everybody to score.
Here's help. Still with 1 out. George, you make a great point. Rosario wasn't in 3-run home run mode.
Just take the ball where it gives you. Down and away. Why you want to try to pull that ball into the seats in left field? You're going to hit a weak ground ball to second.
Outside. I was starting to say prior to the break, the final homestand prior to the All-Star break, in 4 out of 7 games, the Rockies scored 2 runs or less. 1 game they were shut out. And then in the 10 games at home right after the All-Star break, there were another 5 games where they scored 2 runs or less. This is bounced up the middle and on through. Rosario will score. 4-0 Colorado. 2 well-placed hits by Kadire and Help. And the two-run double by Rosario. And the Rockies enjoying a 4-0 lead. It has been a while. In fact, the last time they had such a lead was game 1 of the road trip in Atlanta, Georgia, when they were up 5-0 and unfortunately could not hold it.
Well, again, you're talking about veteran guys. Kadire and Help coming through with base hits. The Puppy and Rosario with a base hit to right. And this all after the Pirates had 4 consecutive singles and the bases loaded with 1 out. And Jorge De La Rosa picked himself up with a strikeout and a ground out. And then now all of a sudden you've got this same situation where the Rockies came back and put a 4 spot up on the board. It's good to see.
Ray Searage is done with his conversation. Who wants tacos? Remember, when the Rockies score 7 or more during any game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 and get your Rockies taco special. Todd Help, by the way, 14 hits shy now of 2,500. Nolan Arenado, and that's down the line, just foul. Yeah, what a strange turn of events. 4 hits for the Pirates in the first. They don't score. The Rockies on their 4 hits have 4 on the board. Beautiful game. He doesn't mind sitting and watching for a while. And a line shot off the glove of Alvarez. That'll be another hit. Nolan Arenado now with a knock in 16 of his last 18.
Well, obviously seeing the ball better, and he's moved up slightly in the batting order, so you don't have a pitcher behind you consistently. You have a position guy. That ball was hit hard by it off the glove of Alvarez, and the Pirates showed up, and they're getting ambushed right now at Coors Field. They're taking some healthy hacks by the Rockies.
Clint's seen this before. Charlie Culberson.
Not only that, there's still just 1 out.
Charlie hitting so well in Colorado Springs, trying to get that to translate up here with the Rockies in his first tour. Charlie briefly in the big leagues last year with the San Francisco Giants, had 3 hits for the Giants. So 4 big league hits for the versatile Culberson. Playing the infield, he's added the outfield. He was walking around with a shiny new piece of leather today. He can't use it yet. He's been borrowing Kadire's glove in the outfield, but that's a shot to second. Good pickup by Walker, but you won't double up Culberson. Charlie got up the line. Nice play by Neil Walker to keep that from going into right field. First and third, 2 outs. And De La Rosa will come up, and the Rockies officially have hit around here in the first frame.
Against the guy that only gave up 2 hits against them, they've already put 5 on the board with 4. This ball's hit extremely hard. A little bit of a wet turf right now at Coors Field. There's been a slight drizzle. So that ball got on Walker a lot quicker than you really think it did by watching on TV. The catch, the dive, but Drew's right. You're not going to get Culberson at first. He runs too well.
This is hit in the air to left, and Marte will make the catch, and Pittsburgh will reacquaint themselves with the visiting dugout. It's been a while. Great first inning for the Rockies. 5 hits, produces 4 runs. And for the Rockies, they did that only one time in the last 9 games, produced 4 runs. That's how rare it's been. Tonight's Sideline Report brought to you by the Honey Smoked Fish Company. Ready to eat energizing superfood. You can add any dish that's healthy and delicious. To center field we go. Mark Stout, it's a Fan Friday.
Indeed. Hashtag Fan Friday at Root Sports _RM. Taking your questions. We start with this one from Ernie. Who was the oldest successful rookie ever, and what was his age? Well, if you want to go with rookies of the year, that would be back in 1950. And it was a guy by the name of Sam Jethro. He was with the Boston Braves. He had played in the Negroes League, so he was 32. I also like this one about rookies. In 1959, Willie McCovey came up on July 30th. That's when he debuted and still won the Rookie of the Year award by hitting .354. And he had 13 homers, 38 ribbies. But think about that, coming up July 30th to the big league. So at Root Sports _RM, you saw Nolan Arenado there. Now you could be in the voting this year for sure, guys.
He'll be in the voting, but right now, speaking of guys that came up late, not July 30th late, that have to be leading the way, Yasiel Puig with the Dodgers. De La Rosa with a 1-1 count on Neil Walker, batting 7th tonight for Pittsburgh. The switch hitting second baseman, son of a big leaguer, has swung the bat much better from the left side than the right side. In fact, from the right side, he's hitting 186. And I guess that average will go up. That is the 5th ball pulled to left field for a single tonight in 1+ innings by the Pittsburgh Pirates. Jose Tabata will be next. And Tabata has given De La Rosa a rough ride. Tabata is 4 for 10 lifetime against De La Rosa with a couple of home runs. And he has 14 career home runs, so 2 of them have come against De La Rosa. That'd be 1 out of 7, Doug. You were asking me. Is that 14.3% there, Dougie?
Let's not forget about the Coca-Cola value packs. They're the best deal in town and are available this Monday through Wednesday versus the Padres for either $59 or $79, depending on your seat location. Make that phone call today, 303-ROCKIES, rockies.com/specials.
Want to know on Tabata. Two now.
So what were you asking, Dougie, before we talked about the Coca-Cola value packs?
Well, we're talking about Tabata
has great numbers.
Yeah, has great numbers against De La Rosa. One more kind of an addendum to what Mark was talking about. Satchel Paige, who you got to know, George, was 42 when he made his big league debut.
Right. And do you know who caught Satchel Paige? It's in the stadium right now. Renee Latchman.
Really? Got to ask him about that. He was in Kansas City. There's Renee. .30, and it's in there 3-1. Pirates have won 5 straight. The Rockies have lost 5 straight. Matches the Rockies' longest slide of the year. 3-2.
Came all the way back to get Pedro Alvarez and strike him out with the bases loaded. He's worked his way back from a 3-0 count to get Tabata. See if he can go ahead and finish the job here on a 3-2 count.
Pirates, all good teams, have the ability to come from behind. Here goes the runner, and ball 4. And now 2 have reached here for Liriano in the second. Pirates against the Marlins swept the Marlins, but they were down by at least 2 runs in all 3 ball games. Kind of been a trademark for Pittsburgh this year, their ability to come back.
You feed off of each individual's energy more than anything else. You get one or two guys in a dugout saying, we can come back and get these guys. We can do this. You start to believe that, and you start to live that as a winning team.
And they're third in terms of come from behind victories this year in the National League. Liriano will try to get the bunt down. So 28 comeback wins. They have 14 wins in their final at bat, which is tied for fourth most. They have the most walk-off wins. They won yesterday, 9 in the National League. You like that one, George, huh?
23 one-run runs. You talk about playing defense, making pitches, finishing games off. That's huge to me. And you know you can hear Hurdle in the dugout right now. Boys, I spent a lot of time here. It ain't over. It's a 4-0 lead. Let's just peck away at it. Don't think you can go up there and take one swing and score 4. Let's just stay the course.
Two strikes on Liriano. And he offered at it, so he's gone. 1 out. De La Rosa with his second strikeout. Starling Marte, who hit a sharp single to left, will come up. This guy's an interesting player, George, because he swings the bat well against lefties, and he has tremendous speed.
Oh yeah, well that's why you look. I was thinking of this outfield. I looked at it just a minute ago with McCutchen in center, Marte in left, Tabata in right. They've got speed, they got arms, they can cover ground in this ballpark or any ballpark.
And they have a big outfield at PNC.
Very big outfield, but they've got coverage now.
Center field. This one's going to get down. Having to wait for a moment was Walker, and he'll stop. And here we go again with station by station baseball for the Pirates. Bases loaded, 1 out, second straight inning.
And this looks like a ball club that's not getting good reads on baseballs. You know, whether the ball's, is it going to carry to Fowler? I can't get too far. I don't want to get doubled off. There's 1 out. Second time that a ball has been hit. This is a split finger. Hit right back up the middle by Marte, elevated in the zone. But you can see, look, everybody to lock down and wait, except for, obviously, at first base, when they did not lock down. Tabata was already at second. But Walker had stopped.
Marte now hitting .405 against left-handed pitching. That leads the National League. Bases loaded. Here's Mercer. That's fine now as a strike, but if you saw the end of what Rosario did, kind of crouched down, moved his glove down to emphasize to De La Rosa what George is talking about. He's got to get the baseball down in the zone.
In order to get ground ball outs and to have quicker innings, yes, it's got to drop.
That's not dropped. It's going to be a scoring fly ball at the very least to deep center. Pirates are on the board. Sac fly from Mercer, his 18th RBI. And all the base runners move up 90 feet. 2 outs. It'll bring up McCutchen. It's an interesting early decision, George. Do you pass on McCutchen, who's hitting .313, and go with Martin, who's at .250 and change?
I'm glad I'm up here. And not have to make that decision, as Walt would have to look at it. And when you have your #1 guy on the mound, I think you let him pitch to McCutchen. I think you let him go right at him, because you should have the confidence that he's going to be able to do that.
Here's another factor to keep in mind. McCutchen, as we mentioned last time, hitting around .390 against lefties, not just this year, That's going back to the start of 2012. I understand also you don't want to add traffic, and that's one of the other things that Walt's got to think about, especially in this ballpark. Oh, 0-1 on Andrew McCutchen. Talking, George, to a former big league pitcher in the last. You know who it was? It was Josh Fogg. We had Fogg up here, remember? And Fogg said, even against some of the heavyweights he had to face in his career, he said, yeah, you know, you can look at it as intimidating, but you also figure they're going to make it out 7 out of 10 times typically.
And that's the ones in the Hall of Fame. There's a lot of them making them out 7.5, 8 times, you know, that are hitting in the 220s to 250s, 260 range too. So, I mean, you know, those guys that are 3 for 10 all the time, most of those guys end up in the Hall of Fame if they play for about 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, you just kind of pick your spots. You got to have that attitude. Challenge. The biggest key is challenge hitters.
McCutchen's hurt the Rockies this year. 7 for 11. Here's the 2-1. Swung on and missed. He challenged him and he beat him up. I say beat him up, talking about up in the strike zone. 2-2.
Yeah, he didn't bring out boxing gloves. He used an elevated fastball that jumped on him. McCutchen, that's one of the most difficult pitches to get to as a hitter, is up and away with a fastball. If you're in that 90-94 range. That was at 93.
De La Rosa, who typically works in deliberate fashion, particularly when there's traffic. A little more time here, trying to make one more pitch. 2-2 on McCutchen. Good block by Rosario. 3-2. And you don't give in here with a fastball. You have the luxury of the open base. You would think he wouldn't go heater.
He didn't go on Alvarez. He went slider away on this same situation. Bases loaded on their best power hitter. So you would anticipate something of secondary, unless it's that fastball he got him to chase early. And that ball was up and away from him.
That's bounce foul. And it was an off-speed pitch.
Split at 86. The harder he throws that split finger, it'll have a little bit of dive, but not as much as when he backs off velocity.
Did you ever mess with the splitter?
Oh, yeah. A true split finger where you're separated around the baseball. So many guys today just go outside the seams to reduce it.
Another 3-2.
What do you think of McCutchen's gold shoes? Those kind of fancy, aren't they?
You can wear those shoes if you're really fast, and he's really fast.
Color coordinated with the gray, the black, the gold.
He also has his own, you know, the pad that protects his shin. It's got a 22 on it. When you're in the big leagues, you get that.
Yeah, right. I was just happy to get a pair of shoes for the whole year.
I was talking to Clint about Andrew McCutchen, and you know, we visited with him before, and he's a really nice young man. He's very quiet. It's like Clint from the state of Florida. He said every once in a while, when he's around the guys, love a burst of personality. He said he's a great kid, just goes about his business. He said you got to love his durability. He's out there all the time. And that's ball 4. So McCutchen wastes a couple of good pitches by De La Rosa, and the bases are loaded. 2 outs for Russell Martin. I think that's troublesome. And so far, De La Rosa has been able to work out of trouble, George, but here we are in the second inning, 51 pitches in.
And you look at that, almost 26 pitches an inning, you like to be around that 17. You know, you basically added on another inning of pitches for Jim Wright and Walt Weiss to look at, and you start to map as a manager who you will double switch with, who you're going to bring in the game if you get into that 5th or 6th inning. Changes a lot.
Martin blocks this one down the right field line, out of play.
How could he not catch that ball? It was right to him.
He wasn't planning on making plays tonight.
Well, you can't buy a seat there and not plan on catching something. It was that guy right there. Right there. This guy right here. That's the one.
Well, typically a foul ball makes one person really happy, and
yeah, that guy saying I had it. I was really close. See him tell his girlfriend it was close. I almost had it.
0-1 on Russell Martin. Just missed.
We talked about their ball club struggles with runners in scoring position. 228. That's 29th in baseball. With the bases loaded this year, Russell Martin is 1 for 9.
Good pitch. Change up for a strike. 1-2 on Martin. Former Dodger and New York Yankee. At third base is Jose Tabata. Starling Marte at second. Andrew McCutchen at first. Rockies up 4-1. Top of inning number 2. He went fastball and Martin fouled it off. His father, a musician, grew up in Montreal. I don't want to call it a beneath the radar signing, but at the end of the year, the Pirates are in the postseason, like it looks like they are headed to for the first time in 21 years. There's going to be a lot of pats on the back, and you better reserve a big pat on the back to the folks that decided, maybe Neil Huntington, to go and get Russell Martin.
No question, because he's a guy that has been able to have this pitching staff grow. Come up with big base hits. He gives you big at bats. 5 different times he's been in postseason. It's kind of nice to pull a guy in that knows what it's like to play in late October.
Yep. 2-2. Next pitch, number 58. To the right side, LeMahieu pulls it to his chest, and the Pirates get a run. It could have been worse. Same with the first inning. 4-1 Colorado as we go to the bottom of the second.
on the Pirates. Hey, earlier today, and it started right down the left field line where you see buses for baseball rolled into Denver. And you see behind me a little bit of video. Buses for baseball, what they do, along with the Major League Baseball Players Trust, is they bring in underserved kids from inner cities. And today it was St. Elizabeth's School that came here to Coors Field, and they were able to meet a bunch of Rockies, get tickets to the game, get food vouchers, something they're probably not able to do. We have a lot of tweets, too, about it, and we'll show you a picture here in a moment. There's Rex Brothers signing autographs down the left field line. So a lot of tweets on that tonight. We want your questions. Hashtag Fan Friday at @RootSports_RM. Let's get them here, and we'll answer them from the center field set. We go back to Drew and George, guys.
Mark, thank you. And that was great. I happened to be in the back hallway when a lot of those kids got to meet with a number of players. Jeff Francis was back there, Michael Kadire, when I happened through. Here's Dexter after the Rockies hit around in the first, and that's a good sign. I like that Dex, George, tried to bunt for a hit, something that we said before he should do more of, particularly when he's slumping. And
Dex
has had a rough ride here in the second half, hitting below 160. Wrist still is bothersome to him. He injured a while back. Here's the 1-1. Dexter lined out to short his first time. How about the Pirates? They've left the bases loaded in each of the first 2 innings. They're now 0 for 3 with a sac fly with the bases full this evening. And the Rockies have a 4-1 lead. Dexter deep short. Long throw off the glove of the first baseman Sanchez, and Dex will move to second. Jordy Mercer's throw was not handled by Gabby Sanchez.
But if there's one area this ball club struggles, it's defense. The left side of their infield has 31 errors. Nice play by Mercer. He has 10. Up on top of this baseball looked like it cut. But it also looked like Gabby Sanchez had his foot in the middle of the first base bag versus off the end of the bag on the other end, would allow him to extend. Now he was on the corner. That ball just cut. Dexter took advantage, headed on over to second base.
And this is in the air to right. LeMahieu will make the catch. Dexter's going to tag and move up. Good base running by Fowler. Here's how they're scoring Dexter's swing. It's a base hit and then an error on Mercer, allowing him to move to second.
And that error would be the 11th on Jody Mercer.
Tulowitzki an RBI opportunity. Troy was 62 driven in. He walked and scored in the first inning. Pushed him off the plate. This is only the third time, check it, the fourth time all year. No, it's the third time. Let me correct myself. It's only the third time all year that Liriano has given up 4 runs or more in a game. In a whole lot of outings, he's given up 1 or less.
16 starts, he's figured into the decision every time.
He has 10 starts this year out of 16 where he's allowed 1 run or less. Think about that. 10 of 16 he's allowed 1 run or less.
That's why he's 12 and 4.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
With an earned run average of 2.08 coming into this, it's going to get a little bigger on him here, though.
1-2 on Tulowitzki. 2-2 on Troy. One out. Fowler with the great speed at third base. And this is popped out of play.
Good at bat by Tulowitzki, fighting off an awful lot of good pitches. The last an 88-mile-an-hour slider.
Two. Tulowitzki battling away that assortment of off-speed delivery, sliders, and changeups from Francisco Liriano. 65 and 58 in his career. Real good years with the Twins.
Gave up one in the second. You got to get this in, and that's what Tulowitzki's doing, fighting with one out to try to get it in. They've offered him everything. They'll go to the changeup here on a 2-2 count.
And he got it. So Liriano strikes out Tulowitzki. It's his first strikeout of the game. 2 outs. That'll bring up Kadire. Rockies fans, it's Fan Friday. We want to get your thoughts on this evening's topic. What team or which player, in your opinion, has been the biggest surprise this season? Text the word Toyota followed by your thoughts to 720-720 and watch during the 5th inning. Kadire bounced an RBI single up the middle his first time.
Biggest disappointment as a team for me, Drew, has been I'm texting in early, doing it verbally for you. The Angels.
And in the National League, the Washington Nationals. 2-0 on Michael Kadire. Well, as a team, Pittsburgh Pirates, who had good first halves the last 2 years under Clint, look like they're putting a whole season together. 70 and 44. 4 games above the Cardinals, 7 above the Reds. Pulled toward the hole, base hit. Michael Kadire coming through yet again. 5-1 Rockies.
Kadire just keeps adding on to the RBI total. 65 now for Michael with that base hit to left field on an off-speed pitch out on the front foot. Now 2 for 5 against Liriano. It all started with Dexter's hustle to get into second base. There's the off-speed pitch off the end of the bat, but out in front enough to get it into the hole and out of the reach of the shortstop, Jody Mercer. Boy, what a good at bat, his last at bat for Rosario when he drove that ball to right field for a double to drive in 2. Rosario with 55 RBIs now. Excuse me, 54 RBIs.
There goes Kadire, and Martin's got no shot. Michael Kadire went first move on Liriano. It's the second stolen base of the game for the Rockies. LeMahieu had one last inning.
8th stolen base of the season for Kadire. This is a guy with a reputation and numbers to match at 53% of catching base stealers. He's 0 for 2 at Coors tonight.
This ball hit to deep left. Take a good look. You won't see it for long. Rolene Rosario, a 2-run bomb. And the Rockies are out front 7-1 in the second. Four RBI night, 2 innings in for the Rockies backstop.
Yeah, Clint Hurdle's got to start thinking about who he'll go to his bullpen. He doesn't need his ace getting beat up on the mound. And the Rockies hitters have come alive here with 8 hits, 7 runs in an inning and 2/3. Ball elevated, ball in the middle of the plate, ball disappears out of the ballpark. Coming out on the Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo, belt high heater. And Rosario just leaned on it.
Well, Rolene, going back almost 2 full months, coming in has hit about 317. That average going up tonight. Alvarez has no shot. The 4 ribbies for Rosario is a new career high. A whole lot more fun putting that equipment on after hit a 2-run home run.
You don't see many catchers putting their stuff on during a game with a big smile on their face. They ought to be grinning ear to ear.
This is lobbed to shallow left, and this is going to drop. So Todd's 2 for 2, and Liriano has given up 9 hits, and everything the Rockies hit find a hole. You remember in the first inning, in fairness, Helton's hit and Kadire's hit were bouncers that found the right spot. Watch this, though. Did you notice Todd Helton against Liriano is hitting from an open stance? He doesn't ordinarily do that. He's normally even up, parallel.
Very square normally. I mean, he just both the feet will be almost equal side by side when he swings the bat.
I can't recall seeing him do that. That's worked out. Got a couple of knocks tonight. Arenado, he had a single his first time. It's been a while, folks, but we've got tacos. Don't forget to go to your participating Taco Bell locations between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Taco Bell Root Sports will donate $250 as well to the Colorado I Have a Dream Foundation. So everybody's winning.
Drew spent a lot of time a minute ago discussing how the Rockies, and Liriano, when he's pitched this year and how well he has been, 12 and 4, 16 starts, a decision with every start, not allowing more runs. And in this game tonight, it's been season highs for him. Man, 9 hits, 7 runs. That's you think that you get the rest of their starting rotation going tomorrow, going, the ace just gave up this. How much fun could we have if their offense is on top of things? Which the Rockies' offense in this game is.
Walt Weiss was talking about making adjustments and that the Rockies on offense have failed to do so of late. This ball toward the gap in left center field. This one's going to touch down, kiss off the wall. Helton around third. Stu Cole waving him home. Arenado will stop at second. Helton scores standing up. It is 8-1. Colorado. Liriano, 7 shutout innings, 2 hits a week ago. Tonight, 8 runs, 10 hits in an inning and 2/3.
Well, and still nobody up in their bullpen at this point. Ray going out just to give him a break on the mound, let him collect his thoughts here a minute. Slider spinning. Arenado sending. Left center field.
How much does it help an offense, George, to see the same guy you just saw, even if he dominated you, less than a week later?
And you like the fact that it's the bottom of the lineup 4 for 4 right now, Helton and Arenado, that have done the damage, and right above them with Rosario the double and the home run, Kadire 2 singles. I mean, I tell you what, 4, 5, 6, 7 have really done a ton of damage in this ball game. But when you see a guy back to back like this, it works to both sides. They have 6 hits too. They just haven't been able to get any big hits the way the Rockies have.
Liriano's ERA has jumped from 2.02 coming in to 2.67. Charlie Culberson hit the ball sharply his first time up to second. A good play by Walker to take a hit away. They're happy. Like their sign. Just getting ready for school, George. A couple weeks away.
Well, you know, they're sitting at home and they're going to the game tonight. They're all excited. They go, what can we do today? And they're driving them. Mom's crazy. They're off the walls. And one mom calls, says, you make the R, you make the O, and we'll bring him to the game with us tonight. That took about an hour and a half.
And it was good coordination, because sometimes you show up and you have 3 R's, 2 O's, and you know, 1 I.
You said the R.
Problems.
No, wait. You said, what about the E? What happened?
And you spell root. Outside 1 and 2 on Culberson. See, she had the I and the E.
Double.
And she saved paper.
Yeah. Doug would be happy.
Absolutely. Environmentally conscious young lady. Back up the middle, base hit Culberson. Arenado making the turn. Here's McCutcheon's throw, cut off, throw to second. Safe. 9-1 Colorado. First RBI in a Rockies uniform for Culberson. Still nobody up for the Bucks.
Can't figure that part out, that you would leave your ace out here that long unless Clint's kind of buy time. I mean, there's nobody out of this bullpen. Culberson scalded one right up the middle. See Liriano very dejected, kind of flipped the arms in the air like, really? I mean, what other play can I make? You see here on the Mike Shaw Subaru Super Bowl coming in.
Great call.
The foot does get in, but you also see an umpire and Bill Wilkie standing right on top of it.
Great job by Welke and the comebacker. And watch how Liriano, I thought he was going to fire at about 95 to Gabby Sanchez. The Rockies hit around in the first. They hit around in the second. They got 4 in the first. They got 5 in the second. 9-1. Werlene Rosario, 4 ribbies already. Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the Ford Mustang, all legend, zero compromise. Ford Mustang, go further. By Southwest Airlines, find our fares online only at southwest.com. By the Honey Smoked Fish Company, a ready-to-eat energizing superfood you can add to any dish that's healthy and delicious. And by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. It's been a wild one. The Rockies, who've gone through a painful period on offense, had a team meeting this afternoon, and they have answered the bell tonight. 9 runs on 11 hits in the first 2 innings. Walt Weiss's club. Now we go to the third, and the key will be for De La Rosa, George, to put together some quality innings, because he has not pitched real well in the first 2 innings. He's just gotten the big outs.
He's gotten out of 2 big innings with the bases loaded 3 different times in the ball game to only give up 1 run, and he's throwing 59 pitches. Try to maneuver your way through the next 3, possibly 4 innings. Alvarez didn't handle the slider previously. He won't handle it here either on a ground ball to LeMahieu for the first out. MLB TV celebrating 11 years. Catch all of the second half action in HD quality. Watch every out-of-market game live. More than 350 mobile and connected devices. Visit MLB.TV today.
Strike. Gabby Sanchez out of the University of Miami. Here's the 0-1. Moves inside, 2-1.
De La Rosa looking around the ballpark. He wanted to make sure that the scoreboard was right. Maybe he thought that was fairly close, but he asked in a very polite manner to Brian O'Neill.
Swung on a miss, 2-2. Another foul ball. Three and 2 on Sanchez. Arenado hoping for a play near the tar. He makes the catch. Let's go to center field again. Visit with Mark Stout. Mark.
All right, guys, got a tweet from Eileen at @RootsSports_RM for Fan Friday. What's Jason Jennings doing these days? Guys, I know he was here for Roxivus 3 weekends ago. He was even on the pregame show, but I didn't hear what he's up to now. Do you guys know?
Just being a dad. And then he's coaching some baseball with his family, and then he's got an indoor facility that he spends time working as a pitching instructor and also does the hitting side of things. Remember, Jason, a very good hitter and a DH in college for Baylor.
One and 0 on Neil Walker. Right center field. Kadire will get there. 1, 2, 3, third inning for De La Rosa. Easily his best inning. Rockies up 9-1 on the Pirates. Rockies up 9-1 as they return for a week of baseball at Coors Field before going on another 10-game road trip. That'll be 4 straight 10-game road trips, and they'll have a 5th coming up later on here in the final third of the season. Dexter Fowler led off in the first, led off in the second, and now lead off in the third. He takes a strike, a line out, and then an infield hit for Dex. He scored last inning. Liriano has given up 9 runs, all earned. Easily his poorest outing of the year. And not once has a Pirate relief pitcher gotten up.
Well, they have a guy in their dugout, Dave Joust, who worked for the Boston Red Sox, then the Los Angeles Dodgers. He's their Jerry Weinstein. He's the guy that works on all the scouting reports, along with a guy like what Jerry works with Chris Warren. But they do an awful lot of thought process, and that's him right here. And he spends a time of preparation of how to pitch to guys, a lot of tape guys, and that's what he did in Boston for Terry Francona. He did it in Los Angeles for a while for Joe Torre, and now he's here with the Pirates and Clint Hurdle. Nothing worse for a pitching coach to sit in a dugout and watch their ace struggle and thinking, I got 2 more games here, plus going on the road with a difficult schedule, that it makes it really hard to sit here and just take this and allow him to do it, because they leave here, go to St. Louis for 3, and then home against Arizona for 3, and then right back out on the road, San Diego, San Francisco. So they've got a hard stretch coming up.
That's the 3rd walk allowed. Actually, 2nd walk. Let me correct that. Here's what the Pirates have done from an ERA standpoint. They've been the best. 307 coming in. It's taking a hit tonight. Starters 322, Penn 281. You look at those 4 teams, and what do they have in common? They pitch, and they've won a lot of games.
And they're all in first, except for Cincinnati, which is really leading the wild card, one of the wild cards right now. There's an interesting article today with Clint talking about throw the baseball off the mound, catch the baseball in the field, preaching defense. I mean, even though their defense has struggled at times, particularly the left side, but for the majority, they make plays. You mentioned earlier, Drew, they make plays when they need to. They get hits when they need to. All those things. He's talking to tomorrow's starter, Clint is, A.J. Burnett, about Coors Field maybe.
This ball in the air, deep right center field, and the catch made by McCutchen. We were talking earlier about how wonderful a player Andrew McCutchen is. He was a great high school football player. Hurt his knee his sophomore year. And he ran the 40 here, George, in about 4.4 to get to this baseball.
Very quick reaction, very quick maneuver to get there. Mazzaro, is that who's up, Dougie? Former Kansas City Royal up going down to the bullpen right now for the Pirates.
Tulowitzki, a walk and a strikeout.
Mariano to hit second. And the Pirates come up in the 4th.
Showed you A.J. Burnett, and the Rockies hope, as they've done tonight, turning the tide on Liriano tonight. After he baffled them in Pittsburgh, they can do the same thing with Burnett, because Burnett threw a complete game shutout against the Rockies on Sunday. 36-year-old with 23 career complete games. Been a big part of the Pirate turnaround this year. 3-0 on Troy. And 1.
What a great crowd. Friday night crowd, and you know, it's a couple of weeks away from high school football starting. The Broncos playing in San Francisco. That good baseball crowd here on a Friday night with the rock pile nearly full, the outfield. Good day to be a vendor. Why is it all the cotton candy guys just sit in the kids section?
They're smart.
Yeah.
Let me explain something, George. Cotton candy's going to sell better when there's 8 and 10-year-olds around than
But you need to have that sugar content to get them fired up at a game, right?
142, the family section.
By the way, I did a bad granddad thing yesterday. Got in trouble with my daughter-in-law.
What'd you do?
Took the go-kart in and got a 4-wheeler, traded it.
No.
Didn't tell her.
Did you buy helmets?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
There goes Dax, punch down the right field line, base hit. Fowler will go to third. Nice piece of hitting by Tulowitzki. First and third. Yeah, I know it's Coors Field, and you don't want to run after your bullpen on a Friday night when you have 2 more ball games, but if you're Clint, you don't want Liriano to get embarrassed either, and it's already pretty ugly.
Yeah, 12 hits, 9 runs. It's getting real ugly. The Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo. Ball away to Tulowitzki, and it's down. Upright stance, back leg drops. Gets himself in a position to drive the ball to right field. Not reaching, just went with where it was pitched.
And here comes Clint as we speak.
I guess Mazzaro is going to be able to go out and maybe swing the bat now when he comes in.
Liriano was still in the stretch. And you know what? Look, Clint. He's got a smile on his face. And you know what? He is loosening up Liriano and taking some of the tension out of the moment. They've had a great year. This kid's had a marvelous year.
Great year.
And as Clint says, some nights you're going to get your nose bloody. Tonight he got his nose bloody.
Been here a few times. Yep.
Said there'll be days like this.
Well, Clint's just telling him, you know what? They hit you with the right, they hit you with the left, and then they really smacked you good. Go on up in the locker room, kick your feet back, take you a nice cold shower, and we'll see you in 4 days.
Yeah, you know
if
what?
It's Game 7 of the World Series, you're in a little panic. It's not.
Right.
Well, Mazzaro came over from the Kansas City Royals, 6-2. He's done a nice job for it. Pittsburgh Pirates, 284 in run average, the whip at 1.16. Right now, the job is give me 3 to 4 innings. Fastball range 89-92. Fairly straight, has a slider to go with it. Gained a lot of confidence under Clint Ray Searage as the pitching coach.
Kadyr's 2 for 2 with a couple ribbies. Two and one. But as mad as Liriano is right now, I think later on you appreciate that when your manager,
oh yeah, no question,
puts his arms around you and says, hey, listen, you've been great. One of those days, it's baseball. 2 and 2.
You're just hoping now it doesn't get any worse. Another base hit. Those are my guys out there. Those are my ducks on the pond.
Did you ever, George, in your career, you can leave names that list, have a starting pitcher say anything to you if you painted him up?
Never. No.
I can't imagine that.
Well,
but I mean,
no, it wouldn't have been pretty. But the other guy, the one guy that did say something one time, I'll never forget it, but it wasn't his, it was his wife. Frank Viola's wife said something to Jeff Reardon's wife after he gave Blue a save for Frankie to have a win. It was pretty ugly, to say the least.
That's a pretty good pickup by Mercer. And another RBI for Kadir because he got up the line, which you know he's going to do. Dexter scores to make it 10-1. 3 RBI a night for Kadir.
That's what you call an effort RBI, a hustle RBI. This ball's hit fairly well. Mercer goes back, barehanded by Walker, then the scoop by Sanchez. Mike Shaw, Subaru Supermo, correct call made. by Fielding Colbert. Rosario, what a night. Rosario was put up on the board.
To third. And they'll go the short way to end the inning. First time they've been able to retire Willeen Rosario. Rockies get another run. 10-1 after 3. Real time, we're spending some quality time with one of the Rockies' all-time greats, Vinny Castilla. Watch Vinny work at Coors Field and take you inside the batting cages with 2 of his sons and check out his personal car collection. Pretty nice little fleet Vinny has. 10-1 Colorado as we go to the 4th. Liriano's final line. 2 1/3, 10 runs, 12 hits. He walked 2, struck out 1. It ties the mark this year in the big leagues for most runs allowed, most earned runs allowed. Hiram Burgos, Gio Gonzalez, Ian Kennedy have all allowed 10 earned runs in a game.
That's a lot of numbers to write down. You know that?
Yeah, and look at Liriano. Everybody's cheering him up. George, he's still in the dugout. That's unusual.
Where else are you going to go? At second inning? You want to go back there and destroy a locker room?
A lot of guys be up there for the rest of the night.
They'd have been eating it up in the shower, hanging out.
His ERA is still 2.83. That's pretty good, but it went up from 2.02. Ground ball to short, too low. And he throws out Tabata. 5 in a row set down by De La Rosa. Tonight's Cold Hard Fact is brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Longest active playoff droughts. Only the Kansas City Royals have a longer drought than the Pirates, who last went to the postseason when Jim Leland was their manager and they had Barry Bonds and Bobby Bonilla and Andy Van Slyke in the middle of their lineup.
That's how long ago Van Slyke's kids in the big leagues with the Dodgers. That's how long ago it was.
I know. And the Royals, how about the Royals?
They're playing
baseball. Really good baseball.
Really. You know what? Spring training scouts said they're not just winning, they're just crushing people, slugging the ball. Then they started the season, it was like a direct nosedive. Now they've turned the corner and turned around and coming back the other way.
Vic Mazzaro. That at bat didn't last long. Vic's gone.
.51 pitches to get through the first 2 innings. So things have been cleaned up. 24 to go to the next inning in 2/3 for De La Rosa.
I think I read today that the Royals are 16-4 since the All-Star break, the best mark in baseball. Starling Marte, 2 singles tonight. 4.5 back in the wild card race. They're in the wrong division, though, George, because they're 8.5 behind Detroit in the Central. Game and a half behind Cleveland for second. Detroit kind of put their foot down with the Indians, didn't they?
You got too close to me. Watch what we're going to do here. You and I were watching Cabrera before the game today on the TV here in the booth, and we were like, is he hit everything hard?
Seems that way, doesn't
Does he never like fly out somewhere?
Detroit has won 12 straight going into tonight. The Tigers. How about Scherzer? 17-1.
You know what it reminds me of? The year that Sutcliffe went 16-1.
Yeah.
After the trade, we came over from the Indians to the Cubs in June, and Sut reeled off and went 16-1.
Angels already beat the Indians today 5-2. Tigers in the 7th at the stadium are trailing the Yankees 3-1. 12-game winning streak on the line. 10-1 Colorado here, ball 4 on Marte. Third walk allowed by Jorge. Let's take a look at our AT&T trivia question. There have been 2 World Series winning walk-off home runs in big league history.
Now you got to understand something here. Doug Marino, who does our trivia questions a lot, wants to educate the youth of America on baseball history.
Yeah.
So that we're going retro. We're going back a little bit in time for some of these questions. So Dad, help out. If you don't know, Dad, go to the computer. But you remember growing up, I think there's so much TV now that growing up, you know, Saturday, everything stopped at noon. Saturday game of the world. We're all going to watch it and study the game of baseball, you know, what's going on. I kind of look forward to that because I got to quit mowing the 25 acres and go eat some lunch and watch hardball.
Listen to Tony Kubek, right?
Oh, man, was that not fun? First time I saw them as a player when I got to the big leagues, I was like, dude, that's the Hall of Fame people there. That's Joe Garagiola, Tony Kubek. Man, oh, man.
1 and 2.
We're on the game of the world. They used to yell that in the locker room. Game of the world today, boys. Make your hair look pretty. You know, and get ready to go out and play because you were, you know, might be the only time you're on TV all year and your parents are watching, all your buddies are watching.
Times have changed, haven't they?
Boy, haven't they, though?
2 and 2. .86 pitches in for De La Rosa. Figures to be, even with the huge lead, a 5-inning outing for Jorge. Ooh, look out. That got him. And Todd's going to pick up the baseball, won't have a play.
Tell you what, I think he spun off of it.
Just in case, Keith Duggar will go out. Jorge already waved them off, but that's not going to stop Doogie. He's got to check on De La Rosa. Got it in the upper arm.
He's going, hey, look at the cannon, okay? It's steel. Yeah, I think it grazed him, if anything. I mean, this is where you got to be really, really careful. Wow. You know, I thought it might have caught the glove, spun around it, but it's nothing but flesh right there in the back of that arm. Where it gets you a little bit is when you go sit down in between innings, like a Charlie, where it just starts tightening up on you.
So Mercer at first, Marte at second, McCutchen at the plate. McCutchen, with a base hit in the first inning, now has a 7-game hitting streak. in the air to right field, pretty deep. Kadire hoping for a play. Will have one. But De La Rosa leaves 2 on in the 4th. 10-1 Rockies.
The 10-1 win on another Fan Friday. Hashtag Fan Friday. Tweet us your questions at @RootSports_RM. We need a few here tonight. We do have one that has come in from Aaron, and we'll put it up on the screen here. Aaron wants to know if the Rockies have any prospects at first base. A lot of people starting to think about Todd Helton. You know, I know that, George, you hung out with him on his ranch, and we did that Todd Helton special on Rockies Real Time. He's up at bat. He says he doesn't know what he's going to do. What do you think about that situation, and any prospects coming up first base-wise?
Well, I will say this. Ben Paulson swung the bat very well at the AAA level. Another guy that has kind of gone out of the radar, back on the radar, out, back again is Kyle Rowling from Grand Junction with 79 RBIs. He may have even gotten a couple a night. He's in Tulsa playing at 275. I think he's 25, 26 home runs. Playing and has really improved his defensive play at first base. And Kyle Parker, a #1 draft pick out of Clemson, has moved over to first and has played there sparingly, but has played there. So there's a couple of guys there. You got a guy, Riggins, that's starting to swing the bat well down at the Modesto level. He started out slow, but of late, 20-plus home runs now, and his RBIs are getting into the 60s. But you know, out of those guys, those are the guys. And of course, you got to consider Michael Kadire. If Dickerson moves into a spot or out, may work into the outfield position. And Kadire, to answer your question about Todd said it's the best his body's felt. He's enjoying playing the game, but he's been away from his family for 17 years. As he mentioned in that interview, pinch hitting is not something I'll get real excited about. I'm not going to be away from my 2 daughters and my family and the continued growth that Christy and the family has done for Todd to play a game he loves. So I think it would depend on the role for Todd and what they envision him doing forward.
Todd at the plate, 2 for 2 tonight. Hitting out of a slightly open stance. Still with a right-hander on the hill. Isn't that interesting? I thought maybe he'd done that just to face Liriano. I'll have to ask him about that. You know, he's come on a little bit, George, in terms of prospects. The numbers still aren't pretty because he's got off to such a poor start. But Trevor Story's got the average up to 221. You said, boy, that's bad. But he was below 200 hit his 10th home run yesterday for Modesto.
Well, the Cal League is a league where you get a lot of #1 draft picks pitching-wise that are going into the first full season. They skip the lower A classification, and it's a difficult league to pitch in or play in, either one. I will say this: the other day, Eddie Butler threw the ball extremely well in Tulsa. 5 innings, 64 pitches, struck out 6. Dan Winkler was moved there, got roughed up in his 1 start. Murphy, the catcher, was jumped Asheville straight to Tulsa. Was 4 for 8 in his first 2 games.
3-2, fouled off again by Helt. Todd leading off the 4th against Vic Mazzaro.
Jonathan Gray threw his 2nd start in the Cal League. 5 innings, 1 hit, 7 strikeouts. Last night, threw the ball very well. 5 ground ball outs in 5 innings of work.
It's 2-0 now with an 0.9 ERA there. Todd earns a walk on pitch number 10 of the at-bat. Been on base 3 times.
The first 8,000 fans this coming Wednesday will receive a Great Clips coupon. Stylists will be on site providing haircuts. Reno, we got to go. Haircuts. Never mind. And collecting donations for Colorado Rockies charities presented by Great Clips. Drew went once.
I got to go again. I may go tomorrow.
You need a haircut.
That's why I may go tomorrow. Always go to Great Clips. Arenado chops it over the head of the 3rd baseman Alvarez. 2 on, nobody out in the 4th inning.
Well, one of the hardest things for a young player to understand is the game will even out eventually. And all the hard line drives that had been hit by Arenado that were caught, balls against the fence that had been caught. The Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo demonstrates a ball hit hard with some top spin over the head of Alvarez into the outfield. Nobody out. The Rockies with 2 men on. Culberson up.
Charlie, a bullet back up the middle for an RBI single in the 2nd. Rockies have a couple of real intriguing pitching prospects in Eddie Butler and Jonathan Gray.
The other prospects already here in the big leagues, Chad Bettis.
Chad threw the ball much better in his 2nd start against the Mets the other night.
Yeah, Bettis, watching him in Tulsa this year, you can see progressively just get better, particularly the secondary stuff and the command of the fastball.
One and one on Culberson. In the air to right field. Tabata going back. Melton's going to tag. Todd will make his way to 3rd. First and 3rd, 1 out. Jorge De La Rosa coming up. Let's answer our AT&T trivia question. All right, there have been 2 World Series winning walk-off home runs in Major League Baseball history. Who hit them? And the bonus, who was the pitcher that they hit him off? Bill Mazeroski, the most famous, with the Pirates in '60 off Ralph Terry. I didn't remember that. Joe Carter hit it off the Wild Thing in '93. Back-to-back World Series champion Toronto Blue Jays.
Ralph Terry, after retired, played on the senior tour in golf. Was a very good player. Was up in Salina, kind of in the corners of Oklahoma, Missouri, Kansas corners there. See him every winter at the Rogers State College baseball banquet in February. He is a funny dude now, let me tell you. Terry was a good pitcher. He just happened to give up a home run at the wrong time.
Rouse has got to be up there now in years. I was talking to a
Close
buddy.
to 80.
Yeah, speaking of 80, I was with a buddy of mine back home in New York the other day, from a golfing family, and my buddy's scratch, and his dad, George, at 80, it's a strike on De La Rosa, regularly shoots beneath his age. He carries a 4 index.
Good for him. Good for him.
And he's not playing way up front. Strike 3. So De La Rosa's gone. That's 2 outs, and that'll bring up Dexter.
Ralph Terry in his career 107 and 99 with a 3.62 ERA. 338 major league games.
Dexter tonight is 1 for 2 and a walk. Scored a couple runs. Elton at third. Arenado at first. Arenado's 3 for 3. Nolan and Gabby Sanchez chatting away. Two and 1. It's 3 and 1. Dexter possesses a great eye. Often wonder, how does a guy who's 6'6" walk that much? He's got a pretty healthy strike zone. Here's the 3-1. Out of play. Tonight around baseball, George, we haven't talked about this guy in a while. Josh Hamilton has had a forgettable year. You know, the theme of the night, who's been, you know, the biggest surprise team-wise and individually, positively and negatively. You know, on the positive side, the Pirates have been terrific. Obviously, the Nationals, the Angels have been huge disappointments. Josh Hamilton hit his 17th home run tonight, but he's hitting just .218. Here's the 3-2, runner going, and look what the glove caught.
Really?
I mean, he didn't even know it. The glove made a nice catch.
Dexter's like, what do I have to do to get a hit? I had it the whole way. I'm telling you, I had it the whole way.
Yeah, you have to have a conversation with his glove, because his glove had it the whole way. Today, USAA would like to pay special recognition to all of our service members at home and abroad.
Live here against the Pirates. It's another hashtag Fan Friday. It's at @rootsports_RM. We're taking your questions through the game here. We have one that's on the board from Tabor. When's the last time the Rockies scored 10 or more runs? Let's tell you, that was June 15th here at home against the Phillies. They won that game by a score of 10-5. I have this as the 1, 2, 3, 4, 6th time this season that they have scored 10 or more runs. 5th time at home. The only time on the road was June 5th, a game at Cincinnati. I remember that game, 12-4 final, Total Whiskey 5-for-5 night, and Carlos Gonzalez with 3 homers. As De La Rosa's back on the hill, guys.
Hey, Mark.
Yes.
Got a question for you, because you're so nice to sit out there the whole game.
Yeah.
And look and tweet and do all this stuff. Anybody bring you anything to drink?
I'm always offered some libations, but I can't.
No, I'm not talking about
I
that.
can't partake in those.
I'm talking about like pretzels with a little cheese and maybe some, like a Coke.
You know what I was offered tonight?
What?
Why can't I remember the berries on the, what do they call the berries thing?
The berry kebab.
The berry kebab, and
yes.
you didn't take it?
Well, I'm on TV. I got to have a professional
hold on,
appearance.
what? Hey, Mark,
really?
Mark, that has never stopped us from eating a berry kebab.
That's a different kind of berry right there.
Yeah, that berry
a different kind of kebab,
have.
right?
Yeah, you got to wait till after to have that kind of
That's
berry.
Right.
But the berry kebab you can have.
Yeah, that's the berry pop that we saw.
Anthony Frazier eats one in all the odd innings.
No. I look like I do, but no.
2-2 on Martin.
See, they always have that kids section out there. It's a great section to go to. They got the little slides and everything out there in center field where Mark is. But then they have the parties beforehand. And when I was doing the pregame shows, it was tough to walk by the hot dogs and not eat one.
So you did.
I did. You at the party, sir? Yes, I am. I'm one of the chaperones. I'm tasting all the food, so make sure nobody gets sick.
3-2 on Martin. 92 pitches in for De La Rosa. It's our Toyota Talk inning. I think Chris Davis has been the biggest surprise. I would agree. That's a great one.
Nolan Arenado.
On the ground to third, there is Nolan Arenado. And Russell Martin is the first out of the 5th inning. He is fun to watch play defense.
Fun to watch play the game.
Period. 3 for 3 tonight. Pedro Alvarez coming up. Surprise of the year has to be Chris Davis of the Orioles. Somebody else mentioning that. That's Don in Westminster. Another Nolan Arenado fan. Biggest surprise in baseball has been the Yankees and the Angels not having great seasons. I wouldn't say that's a surprise for the Yankees. I actually would tell you that the fact that the first half of the season they were very much in it was a surprise.
Well, as much as they were beat
people
up.
that were out, yeah, that sort of thing. Alvarez slices this to left for a base hit.
Well, they're just trying to get these last 2 outs, try to keep it under 100. He's at 95 right now, 61 and 34.
Matt? Yeah, that's not Matt, but I know who you meant. Max Scherzer of the Tigers, 17-1. Michael Kadyer's had a fantastic year. Can't believe the Angels, they have all that money and talent and are in 4th, 10 games under 500. The A's too. That's a great point. Not a one-year wonder. There's not a direct correlation to spending money. Just go ask the Blue Jays and the Angels.
Yeah. They made all those trades. And realistically, Johnson hadn't worked out. Burley hadn't worked out. You know, a lot of bad things have happened over there.
Great race now between Oakland and Texas.
Oh,
Texas
yeah.
picked up Alex Rios today.
Well, they claimed him on waivers and worked the trade out.
Oh, that infamous player to be named later. You know what a great question for Dougie is?
What?
Who's the greatest player to be named later?
Why could you do that to him?
Just because I know it frustrates.
Dougie got up early this morning. He was the producer yesterday on the Bronco game in
Did a great
San
job.
Francisco. Yeah, and he got up early this morning, caught a flight in here.
How about, you know what? Let's
so he could be here.
I want to mention that because everybody, I think people assume that Dougie just works with
No,
us every night and
put the
research.
glasses back on.
Dougie is a producer as well. Does a lot of football and basketball, among other things, and he did the Bronco game last night in San Francisco. But he's here tonight with us. This is hit the deep left. Culberson.
You know what I like what he did? I'm going to tell you what I like what he did right there. And I hope we have a shot of this in tape. The ball was hit, and it sounded loud, didn't it? Off the bat in our microphones and for you at home on your TV sets. All he did was drop. Now, this is a guy that's been playing the middle infield. Dropped and ran on a straight angle to the wall. And he's saying, all right, you know what? I can get back on this quick enough and fast enough. See, watch. Drop the head, run straight back, look up, and go, okay, I've got plenty of time to get under this baseball. Now, it wasn't a pretty catch. Don't get me wrong. You look at it, it didn't give you a lot of confidence because the ball kind of jiggles around. He jabbed up at it. But the ability and the approach to go back on the ball the way he did for a guy that's only played maybe 10 games in the outfield.
Run to a spot.
I really liked it.
Run to a spot.
I tell you, the other thing he did really well down there, too, is he can fly. I mean, he can really run. He's already beat out a double play today.
Two 2-0 on Neil Walker. Rockies up 10-1. They've out hit Pittsburgh 13-8.
Pittsburgh had their chances in the first inning with the bases loaded twice.
And the second inning.
And in the second inning, they had the bases loaded. De La Rosa made pitches. And then the Rockies hitters came to life with 9 runs in the first 2 innings. They crushed the baseball.
This next pitch will be 105. So, for De La Rosa, it's going to be a strange line, assuming he could get out of this, allowing just 1 run. Be a strange line in that a lot of pitches, a lot of traffic, fair number of hits.
I'm going to tell you right now, he's at pitch 105 right now with 2 outs in the 5th inning. There's nobody warming up. It's his deal. I mean, if you're thinking about worrying about 150, now if he gets to 120 and they start scoring some runs, yeah, now maybe they'll make a move on it. But this guy's battled and made big pitches in the 1st and 2nd inning. They want him getting that W, and he's going to get it now. Hopefully that ball's going to settle in the glove of Dexter Fowler, and it will.
Dexter makes the catch, flips it in the crowd, and De La Rosa walks off in the 5th. 10-1 Colorado. lot to look back on, especially offensively for the Rockies. So good to see. Been tough times for the Rockies the last month and a half swinging the bat. Not tonight. Willeen Rosario a 2-run double in the first. We saw Kadire's base hit that drove in a run. Helton would drive in a run. 4 in the first. How about 5 in the second? There's Michael Kadire again. Another ribby. And then the 2-run shot to left field for Willeen Rosario. And for Rosario, home run number 16. 4 RBIs, a career high. Charlie Culberson an RBI single. It's been that kind of night for the Rockies. Much needed, to say the least. Vic Mazzaro in relief of Francisco Liriano, who gave up all 10 runs in 2 2/3. DJ's hit the ball hard tonight, and he tops this one foul. All right, Dougie came up with a pretty good player to be named later. You ready, George?
Who is it?
Dave. Don't look.
I'm not looking. I'm not getting excited.
All right. Dave Hollins.
What?
Was traded. Is this to Minnesota?
He doesn't know about that part.
To Boston. That's right, to Boston. For a player to be named later. And you know who the player to be named later was? No, wasn't that good. Well, it's probably, you know what? I shouldn't say that. Pretty darn good.
Who?
Big Papi.
He went to Minnesota?
No, he went to Boston.
Yeah.
Hollins went to Minnesota.
Wow. Minnesota gave up on Big Papi a little early. What do you think, Dougie? Maybe just a little, like a little bit.
Wasn't Papi a Rule 5 guy too at one point? He was not a Rule 5.
He was not.
Okay. 2-2 on DJ. Leading off here in the 5th inning. Tulowitzki, Kadire to follow against Mazzaro. Ball 3. 4 times, did you know this phrase? 4 times a player to be named later has been traded for himself. Boy, we didn't want you, and they didn't want you, so you're back.
Dougie, I got another question for you. Has there ever been a player named later in a trade that's been in the Hall of Fame?
Well, Big Papi may go.
I just wanted to see if I could stump him. I just wanted to see if I could stump him.
That's a pretty good one. That's good research, but
I like that.
(3-2) on LeMahieu on the ground to short. Jordy Mercer has it. That's why you don't have short first baseman, Trish. Just letting you know.
Is that why?
They never pointed at me and said, "You go play first."
They did. There's Huey. Wave, Huey. Wave, Tracy.
Huey got to play some first in his big league career, but he's 6'3".
Tracy, wave to us, because Tracy's going to answer some questions that didn't get answered on Root Sports Text the Booth.
Yeah, well, not only that, but tonight Tracy's going to share his thoughts on his biggest surprise so far this season. So go to our Facebook page at facebook.com/RootSportsRM.
Tracy, wave.
He's grumpy tonight.
He's a little grumpy. He was a little grumpy when he got here today.
1 strike on Tulowitzki. Troy lined a single to right his last time up. Adam Ottavino is now up throwing. Take over in the 6th inning. Outside on Troy. George, I'd just check in on that team at Pensacola with your son.
I do a little of that too.
The new uniforms agreeing with them.
Yeah, pretty good. 1-1 so far. A couple of hitless innings tonight.
Got an 0.87 ERA. That's very good.
Hey, how about this though? You go outside, batting practice is over, and I'm eating at the boathouse across the street, and I see all these guys coming out in red T-shirts because it's Cincinnati Reds. They got their surf poles. I mean, the ocean's right behind the ballpark.
Surfboards.
Surf poles. They're fishing. right after batting practice. What are you guys doing? We're fishing. It was like 8 of them out there just
Really?
catching for the Gulf of Mexico. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
You made the drive down there.
Made the drive.
How long did it
Beautiful.
take?
Absolutely. I'm going to tell you what. A lot of people, it's easy to jump in an airplane and go somewhere, but if you get a chance to go down at Southeast and go down through the Mississippi area, down through that, it was a cool trip.
Walk to Tulowitzki. Kadire has driven in 3 tonight. 2 singles and a fielder's choice that produced a run.
Just missed a hang and break a
he
ball.
did. He's going to be mad when he comes back to the dugout. He got a pitch to hammer.
Purple Monday's coming up. That's this Monday, August the 12th. Wear purple, win prizes, including autographed items. And the first 10,000 will receive a Rockies purple T-shirt. That's this Monday. First 10,000 a Rockies purple T-shirt. It's August the 12th. So make sure you get tickets for that. 303 Rockies. Rockies.com. 20th. And it's been a pretty good celebration with all the different bobbleheads this year. T-shirt giveaways.
Willeen with a career best 4 ribbies tonight. 2 for 3 and make it 3 for 4. Troy will stop at second. That average for Willeen creeping close to 280, I imagine.
Rosario's average 279 right now.
Very nice, George. You looked up on the big board.
That's helping you out. It's that big thing out there in left center. The averages get updated after every at bat.
Here's Helt. Todd's 2 for 2 and a walk tonight. How about the Red Sox? They're a surprise for me.
They are. I thought John Farrell's coming in and just kind of righted the ship in the locker room and they're playing baseball again.
Made a lot of changes. Made a lot of changes, and a lot of guys they brought in are playing well. One and one on Todd, 2 outs. Tulowitzki at second, Rosario at first. And this is on the ground to Neil Walker. 5 innings complete at Coors Field. The Rockies 10 and the Bucks 1. Take over for Jorge De La Rosa. De La Rosa with the 5 innings. Officially the pitcher of record on the plus side. Attention college students, faculty, and staff get a 2-for-1 annual ski pass. Good at Winter Park and Copper Mountain just by opening a new Wells Fargo checking package. See details at wellsfargo.com/ski pass. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. Adam Ottavino takes over. Opportunity to hopefully work a couple innings with the Rockies enjoying a big lead.
Well, you'd like to see that go out and give you the 6th, 7th, and turn over to 8th and 9th. You say Bilal brothers for the next day, but although they need some work, they haven't worked much. Bilal worked an inning yesterday. Brothers a couple innings out on the road trip.
Jose Tabata 0-for-1 and a walk, 8-9-1. Alex Presley's come out in the on-deck circle to hit for Vic Mazzaro.
Mazzaro, nice job. Came in and stopped the damage. Sped the game up somewhat. Hughes now the right-hander in the Pirate bullpen warming up.
2-1.
Presley 3 for 8 as a pinch hitter if he happens to get up there. A home run if one of those hits. The big right-hander.
On the ground to second. DJ LeMahieu, 1 out. Let's give you an injury update right now. Got good news on Tyler Chatwood. He has an elbow impingement. That's why he had to be placed on the disabled list. And the MRI, thankfully, showed no structural damage. Back in high school, Chatwood had a Tommy John surgery. And Cargo does not have a tear in his middle finger on the right hand, which has been bothering him for a while. The best possible news with those 2 MRIs. Alex Presley pinch hitting against Ottavino. One strike on Presley. Got one start in that Rockies Pirates series at PNC last weekend. Started in right field. Tabata started the final 2 games of that series. In the infield, it's hit to the left side. You got to move quickly. Presley can run. Rockies home for 6 ball games, 3 with the Pirates, 3 with the Padres. And then it's back east. Tulo's going to get to it, and he's going to get Presley by half a step. Nice play by Troy. Boy, Presley can move.
Yes, he can get up to the line in a hurry, and obviously has shown a little bit of power, that 1 home run pinch hitting, but this ball hit right back up the middle. Tulowitzki able to go to the glove side, make the play, and snap throw to tie. All about getting your foot in a right position, your feet, excuse me, in right position if they have that balanced throw to first.
2 outs. Starling, Marte. 2 singles and a walk for Marte. And another base hit for Marte.
Maybe one of the few guys in that Pirate locker room that have a smile on his face tonight. This game ends. 3 base hits and a walk so far.
Auto glass damage, call Safelight Auto Glass at 303-287-5000 or go to safelight.com. Jorge De La Rosa, 5 innings, 1 run, 8 hits, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, 106 pitches. Mercer, 2 for 2 and a sac fly. 1-2 the count on Mercer. Ottavino goes slider and he strikes out Jordy Mercer. Nice inning for Adam Ottavino. Middle of 6, Rockies 10, and the Pirates 1. On Root Sports is brought to you by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local Dodge dealer today. By Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. And by Jeep. Visit Jeep.com to learn more. Downtown Denver, the Rockies, for the first time since June the 15th, have scored at least 10 in a game. They're up 10-1 on the Pirates as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Several changes to tell you about for Pittsburgh. Alex Presley is in left field. Starling Marte will slide to center field. And with the big deficit, it's an opportunity for Clint Hurdle to get Andrew McCutchen off his feet for a few innings. And Jarrett Hughes will take over, third pitcher utilized tonight. And for the Rockies, Nolan Arenado, who's 3 for 3, single, double, single. Will hit, strike one. He's got an RBI as well. The other note on McCutchen is he's been battling a shoulder issue. Just a little discomfort in his shoulder, so another reason Clint got him out of the game.
Well, anytime you get a star player break the place every single day, you do it.
And Huey was talking about that the other day. People may say, well, what's the big deal, 2 or 3 innings where you're not playing? I mean, it's 2 or 3 innings off your feet, and he said it makes a huge difference. It really does. That is not.
You already got dressed, went in the stands? Come on. He's fast.
One out. Mercer throws out Arenado.
Arenado with a good night, too. 3 for 3, an RBI, 2 singles and a double.
Kyle Parker hit his 22nd home run tonight. We were talking about him earlier. 4th in the last 7 games for Tulsa.
How'd Matzik do?
I will let you know.
He's been pitching a lot better of late.
He's controlling the walks. On Charlie Culberson. Down the line to third, and good pickup by Alvarez.
Tell you what, Culberson can fly. I'd love to watch him run the line. catch it, you better get rid of it.
Adam Ottavino will hit. Time now for the Coors Light Freeze Cam. Dexter Fowler getting robbed by the glove of Vic Pizarro. On Pizarro. He didn't even really move it. It hit his glove. The webbing. I got it. No problem. Brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Drew already looked it up. Tyler Matzek picked up his 8th win tonight.
8-7, 3.43 ERA, 6 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, couple walks, couple strikeouts. Solid work.
Pitched well tonight. 91 pitches, 62 strikes, 6 ground ball outs.
Two and one on Ottavino. If there's a time that you want to come out of your shoes, this is it for Adam Ottavino. He doesn't get many at bats. Flash back to his days at Brooklyn growing up. Swing a little earlier next time, though. 2-2.
Kind of harsh there, buddy.
You know he switch hits, George.
Uh-huh.
Most relief pitchers who switch hit really hit 3 ways, George. They hit righty, lefty, and seldom.
Seldom is what they hit the most.
Right. And seldom wins again. So Adam walks off, and he'll do what he's paid to do. Go pitch in the 7th inning. Rockies 10 and the Pirates 1.
This 3-game series against the Pirates. It's a Fan Friday, and we have another tweet. This one from Liam Clark. You can see he wants to know, do you think the Rockies lost some home field advantage with pitching knowledge edge when they began using the, that should say humidor, not humidifier? I don't know what your thoughts on that. You know, a lot of people early on, guys, were used to coming down here and just seeing the Blake Street Bombers and the fountains going off, you know, every other inning. Well, they got 10 runs tonight. You have any thoughts on that about the humidor and home field advantage?
Personally, I like the humidor, and I don't think it took anything away from it, from the game. You know, I was here doing telecasts in '97 when it was 19-18.
In the 4th inning.
In the 4th inning, yeah. You know, I remember walking over to the Yankee game saying it had been like 22 walks, 4 hit batsmen. And I told Jim Cotton, yeah, we're in the 7th inning. So, I mean, you know, has it taken away some of the advantage? No, I don't think so. I think the home field advantage is what it is for every team in baseball. The fans, these 35,000 people sitting in the stands, it's make it your home field.
It's leveled the playing field, but it's still an advantage for the home team. You have to take advantage of that. And this question wasn't asked in 2007 or 2009. Recent years the Rockies were very dominant at home. As I recall, in 2010 as well, they were dominant at home. This year they're 5 over 500 at home, but they haven't been as dominant offensively. It's a better game, George. The Rockies are still going to score. It's still a hitter's park, but it's a better game than seeing 12-10
well,
on a regular basis.
How many times you hear Don Baylor, Jimmy Leland, Clint Hurdle say, well, really don't start managing until the 7th inning. Because yes, you could have a game like this.
Right.
And quite honestly, if Pittsburgh gets a couple base hits, we may be looking at a 10-7 game right now. I mean, it's crazy. That's how crazy that is in this ballpark. But I think it's leveled. But the thing that makes the home field for me is the fans.
Well, here's the thing. The last couple of years, the Rockies have been under 500 at home. 2010, they went 52-29. 2009, they went 51-30. 07, they won 51 games at home. These were all post-Humidor seasons. So when the Rockies have been good, they've been dominant at home, and you can't really draw a parallel to since the Humidor came in, because they had plenty of seasons prior to the Humidor where they weren't terrific at home. For example, 99 they were 39-42 at home. 98 they were 42-39, just a little bit above 500. Best year, by the way, they ever had at home was 96. They went 55-26. So I guess basically the answer is when they're good,
they're good.
They're good. Of course, there's only been one winning season out on the road, and that was 2009 when they went 41-40. Pedro Alvarez with 2 outs. Ooh, that hit or get glove?
Two pretty good innings by Ottavino.
Ottavino would insist on that, and he apparently is okay. He got leather, fortunately. Saw earlier Jorge De La Rosa get hit. He got leather on it. In their new initiative, Hit Count, support Children's Hospital and Special Olympics Colorado by backing your favorite player. Your donation is determined by the number of hits in the second half of the year. Each player's stats will be shown online to track. For more info and to back your favorite player. Visit Rockies.com/hitcount. Dexter Fowler has a hit tonight. He has a walk, and he's lined out twice. Dexter hitting for the 5th time. Jared Hughes continuing on. Bottom of the 7th inning, and that's bounced past Rene Latchman, who feigned interest in fielding the ball.
Not really.
Yeah.
No, not really.
That's a strike. One and two.
Escalona has started to throw, it appears, down in the Rockies bullpen.
Hughes with the 2-2, and Dex launches it into the upper deck. Left center field, Marte gets there.
Mark your calendars for the Rockies Wives charity basket event tomorrow. The Rockies Wives will host a silent auction of baskets featuring unique Rockies items on the center field concourse. So make sure you take part in that tomorrow. Some Pirates are in town. Rockies.com/community. Silent auction. Carried on by the Rocky Wives.
Here's DJ. 1 for 4. Slowly hit to short. Mercer is going to get him. And with 2 outs, Tulowitzki will come up. Troy is 1 for 2 and a pair of walks, so he's been on 3 times. But Troy's not going to hit. It's going to be Johnny Herrera. Walt will get a little bit of a break for Tulowitzki. Johnny obviously will stay in and play short, and this is going to drop in center field. Got a baby Johnny with a knock with 2 outs. Michael Kadyr's been called back also. Charlie Blackmon's going to hit for Kadyr. Who wants tacos? Fans, if you'd like to receive text message alerts when the Rockies score 7 or more for the Rockies Taco Special, text the keyword taco to 720-720 when the Rockies score 7, as they've done tonight. Taco Bell and Root Sports will donate $250 to the Colorado I Have a Dream Foundation. Make your way to Taco Bell tomorrow, 4 to 6, for your Rockies Taco Special. Kadyr 2 for 4 tonight with 3 RBIs, and he gives way to Blackmon. Up the middle, and Walker will flip to his shortstop partner Jordy Mercer for the out. We'll go to the 8th. The Rockies up 10-1.
Wrap up yet another Fan Friday, hashtag Fan Friday here at Root Sports _RM. I'm going to show one more tweet that we got. There we go. Having a little bit of fun here at 20th and Blake as the Rockies break out for 10 runs, 6th time this season, 5th time here at home. So thought we'd end with a nice photo. Thanks for everybody for tweeting us.
We'll
do it again. I don't know. They don't have their name on here.
Oh, come on.
It says TJ Brasina.
There is a name on there.
TJ, I don't know whether this is TJ or Brasina or who, but they're having a good time. They're enjoying the Rocks. We'll do this again next Friday night from Baltimore, Camden Yards. So thanks for everybody for the tweets.
Johnny Herrera, shortstop, naturally. Mark, thank you. And in right field, Charlie Blackmon. In on the hill, Edgebert Escalona.
Yeah, it struggled a little bit of late, obviously. I mean, people realize that. Got blistered down in Atlanta in a couple of ball games, and didn't feel very well in New York. Absolutely, just couldn't even go to the ballpark one day. So here he is on the mound now. 1-4 record, earned run average near 6. Although he can throw extremely hard. Fastball last at 94. The count 2-0.
Gabby Sanchez with a 2-1 count. 2 innings of good work from Adam Ottavino. Just a hit, 3 strikeouts. Strange game, George. In the first 2 innings, the Rockies scored 9 runs. The Pirates score only 1 run. But the Pirates had the bases loaded in each of the first 2 innings with 1 out. And Jorge De La Rosa took him 50+ pitches to navigate those first 2 innings.
Crazy.
And you never see this. 4 hits in an inning in the first for the Pirates. They didn't score.
Doug, how many times has that happened? Just ask.
But let's make it a little more interesting. How many times has that happened on a Friday since 1937? Yeah, with a half.
Another great play for TJ.
DJ LeMahieu made that look easy. Good defenders have a habit of doing that. He is a very good defender. What's next is brought to you by CenturyLink. Here's the pitching matchup tomorrow. AJ Burnett and Juan Nicasio. The Rockies trying to get back at Burnett as they did tonight with Liriano. Liriano stifled him, 7 shutout innings in Pittsburgh. Burnett threw a complete game shutout against the Rockies. And he brings a 2.73 ERA into the ballpark. The record's not great, misleading because Burnett has not had a lot of run support.
128 innings, 106 hits, 141 strikeouts. He has dominated. There's nothing coming his way.
Two and 1 on Neil Walker.
Nobody goes home when you win it. Yeah, not when you're winning. It's the weekend. Going to have a little fun.
Fouled off again. Two and 2 on Walker, the Pittsburgh native. Stayed off that. Walk. That'll bring up Tabata. Pittsburgh came into the ball game at 70-44. It's the fastest to 70 victories for the Pirates since 1972. Pirates 4 games up in the National League Central, the most competitive division in the National League. If the season were to end today, obviously Pittsburgh would go. They're leading the division. And the Cardinals and Reds would go to the postseason. We have a balk. Looking down at one of my notes and see what Escalona did.
Well, you look at it here. He's in the windup. Forgot somebody's on first base. Stepped on it, and then they all started screaming timeout, and it is a balk.
You can't just turn sideways.
Now he could have gone on and thrown the baseball and have been fine.
Yeah.
But he stopped in the middle of it. Forgot he just walked the guy, the runner on first base. A little embarrassing.
Escalona. Throw out Toppett at first. Looked like Toppett slowed down there, George. Fairly close play.
Yeah, it was fairly close play right there. Johnny Herrera's in talking right now to Escalona on the hill. The Rockies have 10 balks this year. That leads the National League. Excuse me, the major leagues by 4.
Alex Presley. With Walker at third. One and one. We're in the 8th inning. Rockies got 10 runs in the first 3 innings. Tonight, game number 117 on the season. Good spot. Change up on the outside corner.
Has not thrown anything hard since the first pitch to Presley, making sure that everything's off speed, some kind of movement on it.
Down the line.
Former Rockies first-round pick Greg Reynolds lost for the 3rd time tonight. He's 11-3. The Louisville Bats. Called up last week, made a start against these Pittsburgh Pirates. 5 runs in 5 innings. Billy Hamilton, Drew. 68 stolen bases. That guy can fly.
He can fly. In the air to Blackman in right. Charlie's got it. Neil Walker's left at third. And we'll go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Rockies leading 10-1. They have 15 hits this evening. double in the first inning began what has been a strong night for the Rockies' young catcher. Came up in the second inning with a man aboard and left the yard for the 16th time. They got him out on a ground ball in the fourth inning, or excuse me, in the third inning, but in the fifth inning, he knocked a single to right. So you know he is what? A triple shy of the cycle. And you may be wondering, has he ever had a triple? Well, Willeen runs pretty well, quote unquote, for a catcher. Willeen has 2 career triples, and he had one earlier this year. The Rockies, as a franchise, have had 6 cycles, all at Coors Field. Oh and 2. Still Jared Hughes out there. Big Friday night crowd at Coors Field, as we were telling you about earlier, 37,444, and Rosario will not get a triple here. Hughes strikes him out. And that'll bring up Yorvi Torrealba. Torrealba is going to hit for Helton, as we tell you that if you have auto glass issues, call Safe Light Auto Glass. 303-287-5000 or go to safelight.com. Yorvi will get a little first base time in the ninth, it would appear. Long systematically taken out these veteran guys, with the Rockies enjoying a big lead. Nolan Arenado on deck is way too young to be pulled out, so he will hit.
Well, plus you get some at bats for guys that have been going at it a little bit. I mean, that's a nice part about it too.
And a bouncing ball to Alvarez. Nolan's had a very nice ball game again. He's 3 for 4, 3 singles. I said 3 singles. How about 2 singles and a double? On the outside corner at 92 from Hughes.
You got a night going like this, competitive guys as hitters. You've got 3 hits. I've had a great night. My average is up 259. You still want the 4th hit. You still want that line drive. You're still grinding. Make a mistake. Let me hit a ball hard. I mean, you're feeling so good. You don't want a night like tonight to go away.
Well, it's been said many times, George, you're familiar with this. Great hitters are greedy.
Very greedy.
They don't get content with that. 2 for 4. That's a good ball game. They get up a 5th time, they want a 3rd knock. Or
go down and ask 17. He'll tell you just that.
And give it bats away. Ball 4. Arenado walked. You know, one of the, our theme of the night with Mark was on Fan Friday was, what team or individual has been a big surprise, positively, negatively. We've had a lot of good interaction with fans throughout the ball game and during Toyota Talk in the 5th inning. Here's one for you. Tell me if you agree. The Atlanta Braves won again tonight. That's 14 in a row. They won 5-0 over Miami. Now Chipper retired. They had some injuries on the mound.
Beachy was a guy.
They lost their 2 premier left-handers in the bullpen, Inventors and O'Flaherty, and they are 71-45. Leading, check this out, leading the National League East, which was supposed to be owned by the Washington Nationals, by 15.5 games. That's not a surprise?
A huge surprise.
0-1 on Charlie Culberson. Charlie's 1 for 4 this evening.
What the Dodgers did on the road, huge surprise to me.
Well, they completely
straight
flip-flopped their season. I mean, they were miserable the first couple of months, and you could make a very convincing argument they've been the best team in baseball the last 2 months.
Although losing tonight in Tampa 3-0.
And Tampa, I don't know if it's a surprise. They every year low payroll, and they
don't start playing until August.
And they were without David Price, their ace, for a good period of time. Now he's come back. I read a stat today, George, in 50-plus innings since his return. Alvarez, from the seat of his pants, won't get Culberson. Infield hit for Charlie.
Nice to see Culberson get a couple of hits.
So real quick, David Price, George, I think it's 57 innings since his return. He has an ERA in the ones, and he's walked one man. Last year's Cy Young Award winner in the American League. But they went a period of time without him. Corey Dickerson's going to pinch hit. Clint's going to make a double switch. Josh Harrison's now on the field, so we know he's involved. He scored the winning run last night. Russell Martin singled him in. So we'll tell you about
a nice job. What's he doing? Going to let Harrison's going to pitch? Come on. He sure is.
Oh, he is. A moment ago when Clint was making a double switch, and saw Josh Harrison out there, said, all right, Josh Harrison will be involved. Little did we know Josh Harrison was going to be pitching.
You didn't know he was going to be pitching and double switch and all those kind of things,
well,
did you?
The double switch is Tony Sanchez has replaced Russell Martin behind the plate. Josh Harrison is a very versatile, and now a little more so than we realize, player. He can play the infield, the outfield, and Tony's got a big smile on his face. Harrison was a Cincinnati high school star who went on and played for the Cincinnati Bearcats in baseball, was a terrific player for the Bearcats, and now he is going to make his major league, check it, his professional debut as a pitcher. You think he got Clint's ear the last inning or so?
No. I think Clint's looking at, you know what, I got a long day tomorrow, may have another long day the next couple of days. We're going to St. Louis. I need to keep all the pitching I can.
This is popped up, foul, and out of play. That was a 67-mile-an-hour heater from Harrison.
He hadn't cut it loose yet.
And for Dickerson, you know, these
below
aren't fun.
hitting speed. That's about 20 miles an hour below hitting speed, which is about 85, 87. So
infield swung over on the pull side, shall we say.
this is about the time you yell out of the dugout, throw him the whoop-de-doo.
Mercer is all the way up the middle. He bellied up to 71 on that one. And now you're thinking, you know what, I can't punch out against the utility.
Well, you're kind of thinking that, yeah. Now, this is when he's been hiding it all along. He rears back, throws on about 92.
1-2, and this is in the air to left field. Presley.
Look at him walk off like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Look at him. Look at him. He's all giddy and everything.
Trying not to smile. We'll go to the ninth. The Rockies up 9. Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. And by Ram Trucks, Guts, Glory, Ram. Well, the weekend starting right for all the good folks made their way into Coors Field tonight. The Rockies leading 10-1 as they've out-hit the Pirates 16-9. Let's go back to center field, check in with Mark Stat. Mark?
All right, Drew, here's what we have coming up on the Toyota postgame show. We start with the mile-high difference. Team meeting today. The Rockies had scored 12 runs in their previous 7 games. This month, they break out for 10 in this game. What an offensive display. Then we move on to Bulls on Parade. It's a song by Rage Against the Machine. You know who was raging? That was that guy, Willeen Rosario, the baby bull with 4 RBIs tonight. And finally, unloading the bases. Jorge De La Rosa loads the bases in the first 2 innings. You see the Pirates got guys on, but they couldn't get guys in, just 1. That's all coming up tonight on the Toyota postgame show. It's going to be a fun one.
It's going to be fun because the Rockies have scored a lot of runs, and after a miserable road trip, there'll be some smiles in that clubhouse for a change. Rex Brothers will look to get the final 3 outs, get a little work for number 49.
Being nice just to shake hands for a change.
Starling Marte's had a very nice ball game for the Pirates. Despite being down by 9 runs, he's 3 for 3 in a walk. And make that 4 for 4. Hey, George, that's what I know you were back home in Tulsa, but last weekend when we were in Pittsburgh, that's what that kid did. It seemed like all weekend at PNC. He could swing it a little bit.
Pretty good reason why he's hitting 283, I guess, huh? Staying very level all the way through the season. Rex, long time in between appearances for him. This is where you got to be careful not to get picked on and have a high pitch count here. By the way, for those wondering, Rafael Betancourt threw a very, very light bullpen today. And it started to rain and things got shut down. All of the activity on the field did.
Mercer bounces it towards second. There's one. Johnny to first. Safe.
High hopper, and when DJ had to back up to catch it, that bought a little bit of time for Jody Mercer. But it also tells you how this Pirate team plays the game. A little back up. Johnny tried to load to get after it a little bit. Mercer hustling up the line here. You're going to look on the Mike Shaw Subaru Super Mo. He might have been out.
Fouled off. Should have been two. So Josh Harrison becomes the 497th position player to pitch in a game. Dougie just counted them all up one by one during the commercial break.
Come on, Doug, did you really? By twos?
And the last Pirate position player to throw in a game. 2004, I think Lloyd McClendon was the manager, and Abraham Nunez threw. That may have been the game where Lloyd picked up third base, chucked it.
Picked up a lot of things.
And on his way out, told his bench coach, have Nunez throw. That's how that conversation went. Now ball to third, Arenado. And that's all they'll get. 2 outs in the 9th inning. That'll bring up Tony Sanchez.
When you struggle like the Rockies did out on the road and you get a W like this tonight, it's sure going to put some smiles, good feeling about it. You swung the bat well. I know it's only one game, but it's a game that you went out and performed. You scored 10 runs in 3 innings. You pitched good enough to win the game. De La Rosa made huge pitches in the 1st and 2nd inning. And to hear your home crowd standing, even though some have left, cheering with you on top 10-1, it's a nice feeling.
Moving up is Josh Harrison. 1-1 on Tony Sanchez. Outside. Should do it. Johnny Herrera's got it on the move, and the Rockies win it 10-1 as they open up a homestand against the Central Division leading Pirates. They score 10 in the first 3 innings and cruise to a much needed victory. Jorge De La Rosa gets the victory. He's now 11-6. The Rockies as a club 15-9 when De La Rosa's on the hill. And Francisco Liriano, who's had a beautiful season for Pittsburgh, falls to 12-5 as he is charged with all 10 runs in the ball game. High fives and smiles abound for the evening as the Rockies win it 10-1. Tonight's Jimmy John's Freaky Fast Delivery of the game is brought to you by Jimmy John's. Well, it's the Rockies offense as a whole. They used the whole field. Michael Bedire after DJ LeMahieu, he went up the middle. Help went up the middle. Rosario went to right for a double, and then he went over the fence to left. Arenado threw out 3 hits. Charlie Culberson had a couple of hits. Tulowitzki, a sharp base hit to right. Good night all the way around for the Rockies. They have been starved for runs. Rockies win it 10-1 tonight. To center field we go. Mark Stout and Jeff Houston. Guys.
All right, indeed, a fun night all around. The Rockies had scored 12 runs in their 7 games this month. They put up